What's up, everybody, man? I'm here with my guy, John Ward, man, owner of Jay's Classic Cuts. How you doing, family?
I'm doing good,
man. Listen, let's get right into it, though, man. I did a little B-roll on the way up here, man, explaining what I was getting ready to do, man. Everybody, welcome to Gentleman's Corner, man. I got one of my brothers in the Lord as far as somebody who is an excellent expert in his craft. How you even get started in barbering, man?
I got started when I was younger, about 12 years old. My dad cut my hair and I didn't quite like it, and he had actually grabbed me by my hair and told me that, if you don't like the way I cut your hair, then you figure out a way to get your own haircut. So from that day on, I took the clippers and I began to practice on myself. I would go to the barber school right up the street. At the time, it was on 42nd and Post. And I would go down there and just sit in and watch the guys cut. You know, the instructor paid attention to how he was instructing the young men. And I went home and let them cut my hair. Actually, it was like $2 then. So I let them cut my hair, and then I went home and just kept following the lines, became good at it.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing with you as well, because me and my wife have been, since it's 2023, got inflation and everything going on, so we've really been benefiting from following your lines when it comes to cutting them. Yes. And she normally, she was, because the kids be like, I want to go see John. She was like, I got younger brothers where I used to go sit with them. I know how to cut hair. I know what I'm looking at, and they'll go in there with a frown. But as she's following your lines, and because it's really symmetrical from the shapes. If you do a taper, it's like a rectangle, but you need to have your blend right. Mm-hmm. So she's doing all of that and learning, and they go in there with a frown, but they come out smiling with a smirk on their face as well too.
Nice.
So as you went to the school and everything, what are some key components that you've always kept with you when it comes to barber etiquette, how to deal with the customer, and how did you really, get your feet wet once you got into going to the beauty schools?
Going to the beauty schools, it taught me to always pay attention to your customer. Mm-hmm. If he says, I want my hair cut, or she says, I want my hair cut this particular way, my goal, my duty, my job is to cut it exactly the way they ask. Now, there are times where you're going to come to a point where a person say, cut my hair this way, and they may show you a picture and you'd be like, I could do that, but that cut wouldn't be right for your hair texture. So sometimes you have to, get your input, but most of the thing, you just want to pay attention to your customer. You want to ask them questions. You want to get full detail. And then as you're going, I learned that you can take it off, but you can't put it on. But that come later. So you can, but not somebody who, who's just coming for a taper or a bald fade. So you got to be careful when you're, getting into those things and making sure that you do a real nice client consultation before you even get started. Mm-hmm. And another thing is just being engaged. Now, when the client is in your chair, you know the ones that want to just relax. You know the ones that want to talk, so you feel the vibe, and, you read the room and you go from there. Sometimes you get pretty good conversations, and then sometimes you just get to focus on that particular individual and cut his hair. You learn new things as you do that as well. Cutting in silence is also a beautiful thing.
Got you.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever have any moments where you felt like this wasn't for me from a bad experience, or how'd you handle that?
In school, man, you deal with a lot of different situations that arise when, people come in and you think you heard bald head and, and they said bald fade. Right. And now, cut this guy hair bald, but a lot of the people were okay with it because they understood that it's a school, they are learning, so it's okay. I'll come back in a couple weeks and let you try it again, or they might try one of the other students, and if they try one of the other students, it gets a little discouraging because you didn't get the chance to redeem yourself. But later on, you redeem yourself, with other clients, and they come back and they say, oh man, you got progressed, man, and they'll request you. So sometime, man, or pushing the hairline back too far, or
stretching it out,
or I had a bad habit of one side was higher, one side was lower because I wasn't focused on that middle. I started in that corner, and then before I knew it, it's doing like this, and now I got pushed this side way up. So it was a lot of things, going through trial and error. But as I grew and learned different things, it made it work for me.
Got you. Now we spoke because, and the people will see, the B-roll of you cutting my hair as well too. And you said something riveting. You said that now the schools are allowing people to just sign or take a test.
No, at one point in time they had come about. They were trying to pass a law to where young men or women didn't have to go to cosmetology school or barber school. They could just take the state board and be able to start operating as a barber or a beautician.
Mm-hmm.
It was just almost like, man, where do we stand in this?
Exactly.
We put in the hours, 1,500 hours, and we paid our money, and we did our due diligence as far as the school goes.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat through theory, and we learned the anatomies and all of the different things that come with barbering or beautician or nail techs or what have you. So when they were coming out with that, it was like, man, that's almost a slap in the face.
Exactly. Because you went through trial and error, studying, earning your knowledge.
Yes. I'm talking hours, man. And you don't just get on the floor and cut. You going through that theory, and then they take you through steps, and then it leads up to you getting on the floor. So it's a big difference, man, when they just being able to be like, hey, I took the test and now I'm a barber.
Right.
And a lot of us could do so. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it. A lot of us could do so, but what happens to the ones that spent all of these money, got all of these student grants and student loans, I should say, to be able to pay for that school, that financial aid and all of those different things. Are we gonna get that loan forgiveness?
Right. Yeah, so, you definitely need that check cut back to us, man. If y'all gonna pull something like that.
Yes.
So I would ask you from this standpoint as well too, for somebody that went to school, you studied, you went through the steps, you step out on your own. How do you feel about the modern barber now? Because I'm gonna play customer advocate from the standpoint of the trend of hiding your work, because you see a lot of things on social media. There's certain memes. You got people, hey, I'm gonna shout this guy out, man. I'm gonna try to tag him in this. He said, hey, use this audio if you can do a natural cut without hiding your work behind enhancements. What do you say to those who kind of just get into the game? They can cut hair, but they're not cut or polished around the skill set. They hide behind the enhancements. How do you feel about that?
With anything in life, there comes evolution. Things evolve. Right now, we have to understand as barbers and beauticians, they have been doing this for years anyway, in the movies and things of that nature. So you'll see a lot of guys on the screen and they're enhanced, or their lines are enhanced. And, you look at them, Jalen Rose, and different ones. The guy on football, I forget his name, man.
The main one would probably be that everybody looked up to was Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. So you look at these individuals, and this is what people are seeking. Now, as far as a barber, if you're not skilled, even with using the enhancement, you're trying to hide your haircut, but once that stuff wears out, people are really gonna see you. Now, you got a kid that's sitting in your chair and he got all this new growth, or this older gentleman, he got all this new growth from where you done tried to
fix your
work. And now, a barber like me, I have to redo his line. So he might want his size dark, when I fade him, or, drop fade, ball fade, what have you. Now, I have to make it lighter to bring his hairline back to his original state. So I deal with that a lot, barbers using the enhancements and pushing people back, and it's art. It's art, but you should want to perfect your craft. So if I can make your hairline look like I used enhancement, that's a plus. And then if you still want the enhancement, I'll put the enhancement on there. That's what it does. It enhances. It's not hiding the work. Now the guys that are using it to hide the work, you're cheating your people. You're doing them a disservice.
Understood.
Yeah, it's a disservice to them, because now once they're at that wedding or at wherever it may be, and stuff starts to wear off, and now people see that true haircut, and they're like, oh man, who cut you up, bro?
You out here looking crazy on that. So what you saying as far as your skill set, you said something riveting that I want to really capture. You said when people do use enhancements and you have to go behind another barber's work, in essence, you're basically being a surgeon. You're like a chiropractor, but from a haircut standpoint too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as if I was a barber and I had to go behind somebody else's work,
Mm-hmm.
how do I determine my prices from that standpoint? Because now that we're in 2023, you got inflation, and I don't know this term within the new, I guess from 2010 on up, with people in smaller markets charging outrageous prices. You'll see again on social media, hey, I took this guy from charging 30 a cut to 100 a cut, this and this and that. But again, you got barbers like yourself who's been in the game for a while, that you're going behind some of these guys fixing their haircut. How do you determine pricing to make it effective for you as far as paying for your equipment, the client, your livelihood, and going behind bad work?
I determine it by my skill set. I checked out the dynamics of the area in which I was in when I first got started. And I went to different shops, most of them not knowing exactly what I was doing, but I come in as a customer, and a lot of times I didn't even get service. I would sit there for 15, 20, 30 minutes and never was addressed or no one ever greeted me. And then all of a sudden, you got someone say, hey man, you here for someone? And it's like, yeah, but I'm not here for anyone. I'm just kind of walking in. Or oh man, you gotta put your name on the board. But I would have liked to known that 30 minutes ago. As far as my pricing would probably be one of the cheapest in the city. Why? Because I'm not going to offer all of the services that other barbers may offer. So when I'm going behind somebody's work, my goal is to make sure I get that individual the best cut that I could possibly give them, and let them know that it's not about how much you're paying for the cut, it's the service that you receive. I could charge 50, 60, 70. I could do just about everything that anybody else is doing, but it doesn't make sense to do so when you're a smaller market, if that makes sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I've noticed, and I'm not knocking any barber to charge what they charge. Your work is your worth is your worth. And I try to make my prices affordable to the dynamics in the area that I'm in at that particular time and moment. Now, when I was in Fishers, prices were different. Why? Because that's the environment, that was the setting. The services were different. We put the hot towel on, using the shaving cream, and you're more hands-on with the razor. You're leaning them back in the chair, and then you're massaging it. So prices are determined on services. So I'm one of the barbers. I like to cut in volume. Some barbers don't like to cut in volume. They cut 4 or 5 heads, 6 heads, and probably make what I make, in a 4 or 5 hour span, versus me doing it for 8 to 9 hours, a day or what have you.
Absolutely.
So it just all depends on the barber, the location, the skill set, what services you're offering, what do you have to offer. Now, me being in a more private setting, which is what a lot more barbers are going to now. A lot more barbers are going to the private settings, suites and things of that nature. Then you have, guys that like to be in the shop, because now you're getting that conversation and the debates and the different things, controversial things, so where you can chop it up and, just be in that circle with me, and that's your me time. That's like your, the women when they go to the nail shop or the beauty salon type deal.
Right.
So people will pay for that too. You know what I mean? Just, I can go over here, man, get away, talk crazy, vent a little bit, you know what I mean? And receive some knowledge or some advice on something so it's just all about the area, the dynamics, the skill set, the services that are being offered.
Right. So I would say, because what I'm gathering from it, that it's subjective. Because for me as a customer, let's put it in food terms. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go to Ruth Chris and complain, say, hey, y'all charging way too much for y'all steaks in here.
Right.
They're going to tell me, well, you can go to Outback.
Right.
And pay, you can get the loaded baked potato, 8-ounce shoreline,
right,
and some to drink for under 20.
Right.
But here in our establishment, this is what we charge. So it's never a knock against another barber doing this thing, because people are gonna pay for what they're gonna pay for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So in doing the gentleman's corner, it's not about knocking people who are paying these high prices for things too. Mm-hmm. But here's another alternative. Here we are at Jay's Classics here in Indianapolis. We're on the east side. You got somebody here that can go toe to toe with some of the best barbers in the city or in the region or in the country. Mm-hmm. Give you the same look that you're looking for. Is not going to affect your pockets, because you got an extra hustle.
Yes.
We don't depend on barbering as well too. Now I want to piggyback off of you going to school, because I've always pushed back with certain barbers too. If you want to charge $50 or whatever your price is, why not learn how to do hair, women's hair as well too, and get the best of both worlds to increase your product? Do you know any barbers that do that braid hair, that do women's hair as well too as cut?
Mm-hmm. I know several. The barber that's with me, actually, Falita Barber, she's an excellent barber. She has trophies, you know what I mean? She goes toe to toe with the men. But the thing with her being a female barber, in some instances, most guys won't let her cut their hair, or so she has that skill also to where she's able to do the dreads, do the braids, do the roller sets if need be, so those skills, and if it's utilized correctly, man, they make buku money because now you're getting the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
Versus just being a barber. It's just I cut hair. I can make money. I can make good money, depending on the hours I want to put in, depending on the services I want to offer, depending on if I want to be a shop owner, depending on if I want to go back to school, get my instructor license and go that route.
And
teach, get my own school or things of that nature. You look at Mr. Kenny, he's one of the staples in our city. Kenny's Barbershop, schools and, barbershops.
Shout out to Mr. Kenny.
Right, shout out to Kenny. So you see people like him that have revolution. He duplicated himself, basically.
Absolutely.
He duplicated himself all over the city. And then he has a team of people that are willing to stick with him and ride it out, and they're all doing it. And it's like, they're like one. So you go to this school, you go to this school, you're getting the same type of service, the same deal, and so it just all depends on where you want to take it, so that's how I look at it, man. That's how I look at it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Man, a lot of them don't know me, but I know who they are because I've researched, I've done my homework, I see who charges what, I know who charges, and not that I'm being competitive, I just want to see where I stand. Am I going to be okay if I just charge 20, 25? You know what I'm saying? Or do I need to go to 40, 50, 60? You see what I'm saying? So it just all depends on where you want to go. But this is not my main focus, so to speak. So I do other things as well. So I do this to service the people. I only do it 3 days a week, but the hours alone so that I can get as many people in as I can that want to be serviced or don't have a barber or looking for, or my barber, man, I just had a guy yesterday. He said, man, my barber went from 25 to 55. And like, since the 1st of January, he was like, why is that so? I said, I don't know. I said, well, maybe,
child support.
Yeah, I said,
I
said, I don't know what happened or why he would,
right.
You know. I said, but you got to look at it, bro. We're paying $5 for a carton of eggs. We're paying $5 for 16 slices of cheese.
How much for your products that you got to pay for?
Yeah, on the products are going up.
Exactly.
You know? So rent going up.
Utilities. We in Indiana is cold, so your gas, your electric is going up. So I understand it.
And I just looked at my gas bill yesterday, and I was shocked because, you know, it's only 4 of us here, but you know, we got our own time schedules, but you know, one might put the heat on 74, one might have it on 76, one might have it on 72. I keep it as low as I can. Right. Because I foot the bill, you know, that's one of my things that I offer for them. You know, you don't have to pay no utilities. I'm not going to charge you that, you know, that I just think it's absurd, you know, but they pay their booth, you know, I pay my booth, and that's strangely enough, you know what I'm saying, that may sound to some people, oh man, he's the owner of the shop and he paying booth. Yes, because I want to be able to put money back into it at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Paper towels, tissue, cleaning supply products, you know, different towels, all of these different things you factor in that you want to be able to put it back into your shop. So if I'm just taking and paying and then I'm not putting anything up as well to be able to put back into it, then what good is it when it comes to growing your business? And I'm slow walking it. I'm still learning. You know, there's things that a lot of people, they criticize me for the way I'm doing it, and I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? But everybody learns different. Everybody has different teaching methods. That's why we have so many religions out here. You know, everybody's method might not be suitable for this person or that person, so they want to try something different. They want to see if this is more suitable, if that's more suitable. So, you know, it's trial and error. It's trial and error. So right now it's trial and error for me. Maybe in the future I might have 4 or 5 shops, you know, that run different. You know, it just all depends on the dynamics of where I want to take this.
Got you.
So yeah, man, barber's a beautiful thing, man. Just the interaction with the people, just to be able to talk to young men. I got to cut a couple of the Addicts players here today, you know, and they're doing remarkable at being able to stay up on stuff like that. Oh yeah, I see your name in the paper, I was watching, you know, just stuff like that to give them that hope, man. We're really staples in the city. When it's all said and done, it should be a safe haven. It should be a place to where you can come talk, chop it up. At some junction, you know, I'm cutting their kids' hair and things of that nature. I'm cutting the dads, I'm cutting the kids, and then I'm cutting the kids' hair. And we're gonna go to Mr. John if they're still in the area. Well, I'm more an old guy, you know. And we had that, you know, 42nd Post, Mr. Lee been there for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
you know,
so
staple in the community.
He's been there, everybody knows him. So, you know, you had those things, man. It's give or take. But we as a whole, if we continue to, you know, do it the right way, is no limit to it. You want to charge 65, charge 65. You want to charge 55, charge 55, and make sure you're giving people the best service that you could possibly give them for that price that they're paying. That's all I say. Because I'm gonna give them the same service at $20-25, you know what I mean? And I might not do the hot towel, but your shave gonna be just as clean as the one that shaved you with the razor. With the hot towel.
With the hot towel.
So there are ways and tricks to do that same particular shave without having to use all of those things. So I know how to utilize my product and things of that nature to get where it need to be. Yeah, just take it serious. You know, you never know whose life you're changing when they're in your chair. You know, simple hello, a simple greeting when they first walk in the door, perfecting your craft, putting money back into your clients. Like I don't mind having different programs set up for my clients, you know, to be able to show them that I appreciate them just as well, you know, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones that's helping, you know, put food in my family and our mouth, you know, my family and myself, you know, putting food in our mouths as well, you know. Right. So with that being said, I'm going to give you the best possible service that I could possibly give you, you know. So to the young ones, the up and coming, give the best possible service that you can. You know, it's not about just getting somebody in your chair and charging them 65, 70, you know, enhancing them, you know, doing all of that good stuff. I mean, that stuff is good, but when they sitting in that chair, they're under your care, you're conversating with them, you know, offer up the best advice that you could possibly give them without steering them in the wrong way. Show them something different, you know, encourage them, especially the young men. You know, you got the opportunity because some young guy here that, you know what neighborhood he lives in, you know, offering him something much more. Talk to him about different things, trades, investing his money, putting his money up, doing it this way, or, you know, not necessarily forcing anything on him. Just a nice conversation to see where his head is. And then you can put that little input in there. You know, he might come back later. Mr. John, man, you know what, man? I decided I wanted to be a barber too. Oh, man, that's great, man. You know, then he come, I give him a whole clipper box. You know, I got one right now, you know. I'm waiting on him, you know. He did some things, got in trouble. He got 4 months. He's gonna do, but within that 4 months, as soon as he come out, I hand him a box of clippers. You know, your little starter kit, get started. You know, go forward with it. You know, it's just a life-changing experience when you're a barber or a beautician. You're able to impact people's lives. You know, and while they're in my chair, I'm gonna treat them as if they're my son, my brother, my uncle, my dad. You know, so treat people with respect. Be respectful, give them the best service that you possibly can. And sometimes all you have to do is listen. You don't have to say anything. Some people just want it, man. You listen, and then what do you think? And then, well, and then they'll keep talking, and before they know it, they'll be like, you just answered your own question. You know, so sometimes it's just listening.
Right.
You know, so, man, y'all listen to the customer, give them the best service. And I keep reiterating that. Give them the best service you possibly can. Whether it's a conversation, you might not be the best fader. You know, a lot of times, man, we as barbers gotta understand there's no perfect haircut. Some of us think that it is, you know, but it's no perfect haircut. It's art. It's art. It's gonna look good at the end of the day. But most people come to the barbershop because of who's behind that chair. At the end of the day, you develop a relationship, you develop a rapport with one another, and sometimes they come, you know, just to chop it up, you know, and then others come, they want that good cut, you know what I'm saying? So if you're not cutting them good, chances are they're probably gonna leave, you know, they're gonna move on. Absolutely. You know, and that's where, man, I'm gonna go try this guy who's charging 65, 75. Let me see what you know he's about. You know what I mean? And then you get that, you know. So a lot of times they say you get what you pay for, but I think that my prices, I still give people
90s vibes.
Yeah,
you got 90s vibe prices, man.
Yeah, and you know, if it were to that point to where I had to start charging that much, I would probably start offering more. You see what I'm saying? So right now I'm not at that point to where I need to offer those services. I really don't have the time because over the years you build so much clientele, man, to the point to where it's either I push them on to another barber or I keep cutting them. You know what I mean? So now as time evolves, time goes on, it might be a day where I might say, you know what, 35. You know what I mean? At some junction, you know, if I'm still behind the chair or what have you, you know, but for right now, 20, 25 bucks, I don't think that's a hurt to too many people, you know, and if you do the math, it still comes out to a decent amount weekly, monthly, you know, depending on how many times they come a month, you know, so it's still, and then even with that, I try to give back, you know, the Cut app, shout out to the Cut app. I use the Cut app a lot. I use Booksy. I use all of the platforms to a certain extent, but they have promotions on there to where you can be like, hey, $15 off a haircut, $20 off a haircut. And then when you got a family of 4, such as itself, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times, if somebody's charging you $65, and then you got 3 or 4 boys, and then they charging them $35, $40, man. You know what you can do with that loot?
Yeah, man. We can go to Longhorn, man. We can go out to eat on that.
Right. Not even that. You know what I'm saying? That's that light bill. That's those new shoes that he may need, or those boots, or that coat that's coming. You know, the winter's coming. You know, so you're looking at all of these different factors that play into that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And now you got guys out here that can pay it, no problem. But like I said, it's the dynamics of the area. When you're in a certain area, you know, me personally, I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm just speaking for me personally, my experiences, I try to make sure I accommodate the people. You know what I mean? Now, other people might have a different opinion with it, you know, that's another topic, another conversation, another day. where it's like 6 or 7 of us sitting here and chopping it up, right? Because everybody has their views on it.
Yeah, absolutely, yes, man. Well, John, man, I appreciate you, man, for giving me the opportunity, man. This is my first interview. We're gonna call this Gentleman's Corner, man.
All right.
You understand? Tell the people how they can find you.
Man, you can find me at John Ward 1931 on Instagram, and just John Ward on Facebook, jaysclassiccuts.com. I'm there all day.
And then we got Booksy.
Just the Cut app at the moment.
Okay, just the Cut app. Okay, yeah. I'll throw that definitely, man, in the video as well too. To throw that link in there so people can definitely find you if you are in the Indianapolis area, man. Yeah, but they definitely got to come here and check you out, man.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna get a good service. You're gonna get a bomb haircut, man, and like he said, you're gonna get some good advice, man. So, hey, brother, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
And on to the next one. This has been Gentleman's Corner, man. Peace.